Alright, so for those of you just tuning in, we're about to spectate a 1v1 on the map MegaRandom between my viewers, which is of course part of my weekly Twitch TV live streams. If you want to get in on this, you can find my live stream schedule by going to my Twitch page and scrolling underneath the video player there. Also, if you follow me on Facebook and Twitter, you'll get updates. So the focus of this particular video is going to be on adapting to the map, being able to shift your strategy and build order based off the map generation. So I figure that there's no more fitting map to do this on than, of course, MegaRandom, where anything is possible. So, good luck, have fun. It's going to be Uger Iceman versus a good flying bird, and thank you so much, 95XTX, for the 10-month resub. As well as Nizen for subscribing with Twitch Prime, thank you. For those of you that happen to have Amazon Prime, if you use that to sign up for the Twitch Prime service for free, then that means you can actually subscribe to my Twitch channel for free and support me while keeping your Amazon Prime subscription, which is pretty wonderful. Thank you so much, Expandongius and Ryukon, for also subscribing to Twitch Prime. Thank you. I might miss some of yours because I don't actually get any notifications for that, but we'll do our best. Now, we're starting off the game here. So, a good flying bird will be playing as the orange Berbers, and on the opposing side of the map, we have Uger Iceman playing as the purple Magyars. So like I said, the focus of this particular match is going to be on how to adapt to the map generation. In the previous one that I tried to do for this before my game crashed at the very end, it was primarily a water map, and here it looks like the map is going to be a little bit more of a balance between a water and land map. Now, we'll see Whooper uses Ice Punch. I think that this match could easily go either way. So at the start of the match, what you want to do, of course, is scout around, especially when you're playing on MegaRandom, which is such a fun map. I love playing on this one. You want to scout around, make sure that you get a good idea of what the map generation looks like. So it's really good to see a good flying bird making use of his sheep here as a makeshift scout, just like all medieval empires used to do in history, of course. He's looking around. He has seen a little bit of a shoreline, so this means that he's going to have to swing around his scout to see exactly how large this body of water is. We talked about this a little bit in the previous video, but the moment that you see any sort of fish that's not shorefish, and the body of water appears to be large enough after you scout along the edge of it, making sure, of course, it's connected to where it needs to be, rather than docking in a really small pond in the middle of nowhere. Once you see the fish tuna and whatnot, that is your signal that you probably do want to dock there. It is actually worth it for your economy to do that. Because having a dock in the early game, if there aren't enough fish, then it's actually like having another town center. Did I miss a Twitch sub? Feel free to tag me in at Resonance22. So anyway, like I said, so exactly how much is enough fish to warrant docking? I'd say you want more than 4 shorefish tiles, or if you happen to see any sort of middle or deeper sea fish. So this is certainly a dockable pond, and this is a dockable pond, but we'll see if either of them actually do decide to dock, of course, since this is these players are a little bit on the middle-rated spectrum, so we'll see exactly what they're up to. And it looks like we are seeing a little bit of a potential mistake here, as I think he just realized that he forgot to build the lumber camp. Oh my goodness. Some people get a little nervous when they're playing on stream, but I encourage them not to, because really, it's all about having fun here. So, obviously, of course, in retrospect, I'm sure if he could redo it, he would have put the lumber camp right up adjacent to the tree line, because when you put it several tiles away, these villagers spend so much time walking that they end up, it ends up being really inefficient, adds up over time, and oh no. Oh, okay, a good flying bird does get to kill Uger Iceman's scout, but he might end up losing his villager here. Will the boar reset? He does not! He has salvaged what could have been an awful Titanic to start off, or 1v1 Age of Empires 2 game here. So good on a good flying bird for salvaging the situation. Manages to take out Uger Iceman's scout and save his villager. I was very nervous there. Anyway, back into the rest of the game. So we're scouting around. We've already seen that there are some bodies of water. So let's go swap back to Uger Iceman's perspective and see what his scouting information tells us. It's interesting to see that he already scouted aggressively, but he had located his initial important starting resources. So Uger Iceman felt the need that he could scout ahead because he located his boar, his main gold, he's found his stone mine, he's found his berries, he's found his tree line. So what kind of information do we have on the map so far? Well, right now we know that we are connected to each other on land, and that the bodies of water are only along the edges, except for this one, which is really just not dockable, so I really hope that no one docks in here. This is going to be a mixed water and land map that we can tell right off the bat, and if this was like a mono land map, the question you would be asking yourself, and you're still asking this on a mixed map, is this map open or closed? So the first thing you want to figure out, is it a water map or a land map? And then, is it open or closed? What does that mean? So an open map is one that's actually very difficult to wall due to, you know, sparse amounts of trees, or perhaps the natural terrain is just not favorable for walling, like in this specific case. So here we're not actually able to wall this off because of this lake that contains shallows in the middle. So this is what we're calling an open map. This means that this is going to be very aggressive because it's difficult to wall. So you're going to want to try going for some sort of early game rush strategy. So attacking your opponent in the Dark Age with the standard 3 militia drush, or, you know, going to the Feudal Age, going for some like scouts, archers. Maybe you try and go for forward towers. You have a lot of options here. I think a galley rush is actually kind of weak because if we look at the way that the map is set up, since each player has their own lake, and if you're scouting around enough, you will be aware of this. Basically, your water is not connected to your opponent, so going for a galley rush here would be a mistake. And that's something that you would check for, of course, when you're scouting is, how is this body of water oriented? Does it connect to my opponent's body of water? And the answer is no. And through enough scouting, we can see here that there's already a gap between this lake and the center one, which already tells us that if he saw any fish, which he actually has not, which is awful, so it's actually good on him not to dock here, because that would be a bit of a risk. This would tell us that already it's a mistake to go for galleys, because the odds of this, you know, puddle being actually connected to your opponents is honestly pretty slim. Some really unfortunate luck, though, because there are no shorefish here along the edges of this map. So he does want to dock here, but he hasn't scouted any fish, so... Ah, man, yeah, because the fish is just barely out of his line of sight. If you look at this, guys. It's as close as humanly possible. And unfortunately, he's not going to see that, so he's not going to dock. I don't think that's going to be a huge blunder on his part just because he doesn't have enough scouting information. Don't really blame him. And it looks like Uber Iceman, since he did indeed scout some of the non-shorefish that he knows that is a good idea to dock. Yeah, because he's also seen this one right here. So he's going to go for the standard 4 fishing ships, which is what you want to do when you see a reasonable supply of fish. Now, you could end up going for more than 4 shorefish, though. I'm sorry, more than 4 fishing ships if there are like a substantial amount of fish, like twice as many as these, but they're not. Looks like Uber Iceman will be milling some deer. The other thing when you're playing MegaRandom or just really any map, sometimes you're just going to have some particularly bad map generation, and you're going to need to be able to adapt your build order there to survive. Like, for example, if you have only 3 deer and they happen to be on the other side of like a forest or cliff, there's something that you're not really able to take, then you're going to want to build additional farms in the early game to compensate for your lack of deer and adjust your build order accordingly. So, greetings, Redeem Viking. Welcome to the stream. So, looks like a good flying bird will be putting down a barracks. I think this is smart, and his feudal age timing is good. Uber Iceman's is like a little on the slower side of things, but that's totally fine, because, again, he's going for some fishing ships, and these guys are trying to get used to the map. Good to see the barracks coming down, because again, this is an open map. But what would constitute a closed map? A map when you start with walls, like Hideout, Fortress, or Arena, or a map that's very easy to wall, like Black Forest. Even a map like Mongolia, which is kind of sparsely forested, does end up having enough cliffs that it is reasonably wallable. So I could consider, Mongolia as the type of map where you could get away with going for a more greedy strategy. If the map was closed, then you could end up going for something like a fast Castle Age, because you know that your initial walls will be able to deal with the rush, or at least, slow it down, give you time to get to the Castle Age and respond accordingly. Farsari says, why don't you give a YouTube warning anymore when you will stream? I do every time. Thank you so much, Dig Out Wings now for the $2. Says 100 plumed archers walk into a bar, there's no counter. Hey! O'Rule says, can you shed some light in the house placement? Purple's houses have some purpose, or is it pseudo OCD? A little bit of both. Right now he's just trying to save some, and this is something I was going to cover in the next video. He's just trying to save resources. Like, he's going to need to build houses anyway, so he might as well use them as part of his makeshift wall-off rather than wasting resources on stone, because honestly, in the early game, houses are like a totally sufficient wall-off. He's just trying to protect his wood line. Is this excessive? Probably. Some of these could easily be palisade walls because he didn't need to build these houses right now, but it will end up keeping his economy safe. It looks kind of funny, but he knows that he can't wall at the front due to the way his map generation is set up, so that's why he's putting those houses at the back. So Good Flying Bird will be putting down a market with his archer range. So anyway, like I said, if it was a closed map, then you'd probably, you're able to go for something like a fast Castle Age. And the reason being is, you can just wall up to allow yourself to get to the Castle Age, and then you start building, a huge incremental lead over your opponent because you have that tech advantage. So you want to be greedy if the map is closed, but if the map is open, then you really need to put down that barracks in the later stages of the Dark Age, or like immediately once you get to the Feudal Age, That way you'll actually be able to defend yourself and go for some sort of rush-oriented strategy. Great to see these players not building any galleys, because again, if you're doing enough scouting, then you would know that. I have done some King of the Hill Black... I haven't actually King of the Hill Black Forest, have I? We'll see. We'll do some crazy settings at some point. Yeah. Thank you so much, Nick QP. It's really good to see you, man. It's been quite a long time. Hope to see you in the future, my friend. So, none of these players are actually going for any sort of feudal age aggression. It's actually interesting and incredibly greedy on the part of Ugra Iceman to go for this fast castle age, but I admire it. Let the greed flow through you, my friend. He's actually going for a night rush. How do we know this? Well, we look at the way his economy is set up. So he's already on his way to the castle age. He's got the stable, he has a blacksmith, and he has 3 on gold. So he's on his way to the castle age. So he's going to be making some nights. Sorry if you guys can hear some noise in the background. I have no idea what that is. Good to see you as well, Saugable. Dragon says, I've learned a lot and benefited from your streaming YouTube videos. On the flip side, I feel bad that I was not able to support you due to a limited budget. Keep up the awesome work, Raz, and many more people benefit from your work. Thank you so much, Noah Dragon. I really appreciate it. Thank you. S-Daco says, what mod is that ground from? It's Menu's HD Texture Pack version 2 or 3. So anyway, yeah, Fast Castle Age here from Ugra Iceman is like super duper greedy, and in fact, a good flying bird also going for Fast Castle Age. I mean, when you look at this map though, like this is the type of thing where you could probably just kill somebody if you're going for, you know, any sort of rush, so I'm surprised that neither of them did. Thanks so much, Nick QP, for the sub. Much appreciated. Yeah, a lot of new players do tend to like Fast Castle Age by default, and that's something that, you know, I always enjoy doing. I like to be as greedy as humanly possible. So I'm just telling you that from an educational standpoint, when you look at a map like this, and you see that it's like almost impossible to actually wall up, then you know that you'll be able to do significant damage with your early game rush units. Like a couple of Scout Cavalry could just decimate this wood line. I think that's why actually a good flying bird is going to end up making... Oh, he's making some spearmen right now. Oh, this is great, because he's already scouted the stables. He knows that Ugra Iceman is going for Fast Castle Age because he hasn't seen any military units yet. Now he's going to make some preemptive spearmen in order to deal with the incoming knights. Now, spearmen not great against knights. He will probably need the pikeman upgrade for them to really trade favorably, but it looks like he's not able to afford it. Thanks so much, Mr. DNRA, for the 23-month resub. Oh my god, it's almost been 2 years for you. Much appreciated. And greetings, Nick RNG. Yeah, so it looks like he's going to put down an additional town center. This town center should probably be, you know, positioned right about here, so it protects the stone and the wood line, so it should be, like, right up against the wood, ideally. Or over here, so it protects the gold and the wood, or you could have, well, if there weren't houses there, you know, that would have been a reasonable place to put it. So this is not the best town center placement, but it will be okay. It looks like he's going for some sort of mixed crossbowman slash spearman push. Now, this will not be particularly effective, mostly because all that money that he spent on spearmen will prevent him from getting the crossman upgrade, thus substantially weakening this rush, which again, you know, begs the question, would this rush have been more effective if it was executed in the feudal age and not the castle age? And the answer is yes, because he's really not taking advantage of the tech advantage that he has. No crossman upgrade. I don't think he'll be able to afford bodkin or any of that jazz, and I don't even think he has blacksmith. He's going to be putting that down now. So yeah, a lot of unupgraded units. Ugra Iceman parked out here, being the Magyars, does the bloodlines upgrade, and he gets the free iron casting and forging for his knights. It's going to be very scary. This good flying bird has no upgrades for this. His economy not necessarily in the best shape. The saving grace, though, is he does have a town center advantage, but Ugra Iceman is really in just commanding lead right now because he has so many fishing ships as well. Ugra Iceman actually mixing in what appears to be cavalry archers with his army as well, perhaps as a way to preemptively deal with the spearmen. So really interesting play on the part of Ugra Iceman. We'll see if it pays off. So again, based off this map, moral of the story is we would assume that a feudal age or dark age rush is in order here, just because this map is so very, you know, difficult to defend. Now, if you were going for Fast Castle Age here and you somehow got away with it because you're a god, looks like Ugra Iceman will be microing this very well. So if you happen to go for Fast Castle Age because, you know, you're a young doubt, and you get away with it, what should your game plan be if for some reason you do get away with it? You know, especially because if you have like a wall off like this, maybe you were able to keep your economy safe and your town center was able to also stall for time. What do? Probably not mixed archers and spearmen. That's more of a feudal age army comp, because again, we're not taking advantage of the powerful units that the Castle Age brings us. That's why I like to see that Ugra Iceman, he's got cavalry archers and knights, two very powerful Castle Age units, which are substantially stronger than the base feudal age units. So here, if you're orange, some options you have is you could have gone for crossbowmen. That would have been okay, but I think that knights are generally the thing that we default to. In the Castle Age, I think knights would have been decent, especially considering that he's the Berbers. And if we recall, the Berbers do have a 20% cheaper stable unit starting from the Castle Age bonus, which is absolutely ridiculous in conjunction with knights. So, you know, for every 4 knights your opponent has, you have 5. And knights are such a strong Castle Age unit. They're probably the best unit in the game in the Castle Age at leveraging the whole tech difference. Like, if you were fast castling and your opponent was still in the Feudal Age, then they're gonna have a lot of trouble dealing with knights, because you kind of need the pikeman upgrade to deal with them. Knights are just super mobile. Very, very tanky units. So he could have gone for defensive monks as well, anticipating this. I mean, he did scout out the stables, but he decided to, like, mix in some archers with the spearmen, which I think was, like, a little ill-advised. Orange is kind of falling apart at the seams here, just booming as hard as humanly possible. And again, I think he's just not reading the map properly. Of course, I think he is playing a very well-done, well-executed defensive game. It's just that I feel like his strategy choice is suboptimal for the specific map. Good to see you as well, our Mythal. So, of course, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask me again if I miss them while I am casting, trying to focus on the game itself. Yeah, I think the Ugra Iceman strategy choice here has just been, you know, particularly excellent, going for, like, more of a aggressive early Castle Age push. He honestly thought that he could get away with it based off the way his, like, houses were set up, and he had a pretty strong fish boom, so yeah, he got away with it. I think he was certainly going to be very vulnerable to, you know, some sort of Feudal Age or Dark Age aggression, but with those wall-off, yeah, he managed to actually get away with it. And it's also smart of him to put his, like, lumber camp at the back of his base, again, just making it harder for his opponent to find them, get that rush pulled off. He's going to be putting down a defense, oh yeah, so he's getting a siege workshop here, because he's going to try and close out this game, because he knows his opponent has a strong defense. Those are camels, by the way, in that stable. Iceman on his second town center. A good flying bird is very strong economy, by the way, on 3 TCs. Can he sustain that while defending? The answer is maybe. Camels are going to be the absolute go-to unit here. Did I miss a Prime sub? Thank you so much. Day Got Wings now for the Twitch Prime sub. Really appreciate it. Thank you, MLZK, for reminding me. Praise as well, Bert. Bert Twitch. And Kung Fu Panda. So anyway. Open map fast Castle Age. That's some break the meta level stuff. But it's always cute, and it's something that I like to try. So it looks like he's going to try and put down a defensive castle as a way to keep himself alive, and in the meantime mix some camels in his army. Bold move. Will it pay off? He actually does have a substantial amount of camels, considering he's the Berbers and he gets that 20% discount. You actually should be able to mop up Ugra Iceman's army here, especially if he has any upgrades. Will 5 camels be able to take on this army? Not quite. He just needs to produce a couple more, but he's not doing it. I actually think that he would be able to push this back, and since he's on 3 town centers, you know, that could be, like, game-winning. Oh, he's producing in the back of his base. That's interesting. There's not really that much of a benefit from doing that, though, because they're already concealed inside this stable, so there's no way Ugra Iceman would know if any additional camels are being produced. Ugra Iceman will probably be sending, yeah, forward Mangonel just to continue applying pressure safely to that town center. Mangonel being a very pivotal, important unit in the Castle Age because his 7 range and the town center only has 6, allowing you to siege a town center from a safe distance without losing any units. He'll be ungarrisoning those camels. He actually will be able to win this battle, so really good and a good flying bird for recognizing that the joint counter that Knights and Cavalry Archers have is the camel unit. They're both mounted units, so the camel will be excellent here, and he gets to take advantage of the Berbers bonus. So this is just great. Use the HD, spec bug, and ungarrison stuff. I'm not going to do that. Take all these SD. I'll play Heroes of the Storm again sometime, sure. Yeah, I like this. This is actually really interesting. I think that, yeah, if he just, like, spaced out his town centers a little bit more... Oh my god, 4 TCs, you greedy bastard. I love it. And he's moving out here. No blacksmith upgrades, but assuming he can focus down that Mangonel, which he is going to, now he should attack with the other guys, because they're just taking so much free damage from these Cavalry Archers. Ugra Iceman has Bloodlines. He has +1 defense, +1 range, and attack, so these camels actually are just going to get mopped up, because he did try and focus down that Mangonel. Maybe he didn't need to focus down the Mangonel, and actually just should have... He's just taking so much free damage when he was trying to path around those Cavalry Archers there that he ended up losing almost all of his camels, and I think that the upgrade discrepancy there was absolutely massive, so... Well, he's in deep trouble, but if he gets this castle up, he will be able to survive. Ugra Iceman going to be dropping an aggressive forward castle. Interesting that Iceman did not put the Siege Workshop forward, but honestly I think that's fine, because it does not appear to be his game plan to really end it now, and it's nice to have some military buildings in your own base to defend yourself. It looks like, though, he is confident after winning that engagement that this castle will not be a huge risk. You see, Lion asked, are we going to do another Armello stream? I would love to do another Armello stream. Yeah, I don't think Orange had enough camels there. I actually assumed that he had blacksmith upgrades or something like that, but he did not, and there's no way for me to actually check that. Still, though, the camel should be able to do a lot of damage to that army. I also think there's like a little bit of a missed micro thing. I think he had the right idea. And here comes the castle. I actually think he may have bought some stone at the market. This will allow him to stay alive. He has a huge economy. He's playing so greedy to the point where he's actually not that far behind in pop. He's only behind by like 10 population here. And his economy is certainly bigger than Uger Iceman's. If we check that out, we compare the sizes. Yeah, his economy is a little bigger than Uger Iceman's, because again, a good flying bird has like no military units whatsoever at this point. He's going to just try and defend with a castle. That will keep him alive until Uger Iceman gets the Imperial Age. So the thing that you want to be doing if you're playing Age of Empires 2 and you want to get better, the thing you should be asking yourself is, you know, what do you do in a situation where your opponent has put down a defensive castle and your own castle age push is kind of being stalled? What do you do? Actually, you probably want to, you know, besides harassing around the castle, you know, not actually fighting the castle directly, you want to, you know, try and poke at the rest of his more vulnerable economy. You actually just kind of want to, you know, hold back, take some time off from producing military units, and then instead try and get to the Imperial Age, build a trebuchet, and that'll just end the game. You've probably already done enough damage to your opponent's economy, assuming you're both in the Castle Age and you've been playing aggressively, that you can afford to get to the Imperial Age, and you'll get there first, and then with the Treb, you can just deal with his castle from a safe distance and the stall. So a good flying bird's actually in an awful position here. Uger Iceman does have a battering ram with him. Great to see he's not suiciding this into the castle, because it's very easy for Orange to pull some villagers off and kill this, because again, this thing has 0 Endura armor. Yeah, as Viking playing, we can do some higher rated MegaRandom at some point. I meant check what upgrades they've already researched. Yes, I do think it is around time to at least start thinking about going to the Imperial Age. Darklink, I don't play on Boobly, so we're playing at HD and there is no Boobly. You can actually tell by looking at the bottom right and seeing the, yeah, in the bottom right it says HD edition. So there's no spectator overlay. I really wish there was, though. That would be nice. And that would be an awesome addition to this. Interesting that Orange is not pulling off any villagers here to deal with this, but I don't think he needs to. This battering ram will go down kind of for free, but yeah, he did force some villagers to stay garrison inside. So, you know, Purple going to do some additional raiding on Orange's economy, and Orange will actually just resign. So there's no need to drag it out. So you will end up calling it a GG here. So this is actually a very close game, so I think I can do another extra game today to make up for that. I realize this one was short, but I hope you guys enjoyed it regardless. Not every match needs to be a 2-hour-long slugfest. Because, again, the moral of today's story here is, again, just how you should read the map and select your strategy. I actually really think that Orange played this one really well. We see the makings of a very good player within a good flying bird. I'm actually very happy with the way that he executed everything. The thing is that he just probably needed to pick a different strategy set than he did. This sort of like defensive boom would have been excellent if he was playing on, you know, a map that was more heavily forested than this and didn't really have this annoying lake in the middle that prevents any sort of wall off. If Orange was able to create some choke points with his buildings, then I think he would have actually maybe won this game. And ultimately, I believe that Uger Iceman won this game because he read the map better. So I think this is an excellent match to showcase the importance of scouting and reading the map. As we saw here, it's good to see neither player, of course, going for a galley rush, because we know that these bodies of water are unlikely to be connected based off the space between this one and the middle body of water. And I like that Uger Iceman played really aggressively in the Castle Age, full well knowing that because he's seen this lake with shallows in the middle, this map is basically impossible to wall. So it's just great to see that in action. And yeah, both players played this match very well. So GG well played, Uger Iceman, and a good flying bird. I think he put up an immaculate defense. It just does... That build just does not work for a map as open and aggressive as this. Yeah, because this was more of like an Arabia-style map that was actually just impossible to wall in the middle. We see here, though, that he had just really an excellent economy here. Yeah, Orange, with, you know, despite losing a ton of villagers, actually still has a 6-villager lead, and he had, you know, substantially more resources gathered. So we see here that he did have a noticeable economy lead. He just never had enough time to stabilize, because Uger Iceman would not, you know, hold off on the pressure. So, well played. Let me know if you guys found my commentary helpful in some way and you thought the match was entertaining. As always, I appreciate the feedback. Hopefully this match helps you guys understand a little bit more about how to read the map generation and adapt your strategy to it. We saw here that probably the optimal strategy would have been going for a dock in the Dark Age, We don't blame Orange here at all for not putting that down, though, because he just didn't scout any fish, which is unfortunate. Happens to the best of us. So we probably wanted a dock in the Dark Age, and then we also probably wanted to go for some sort of, maybe like a 3 Militia Drush, or I like the idea of maybe going for some Feudal Age aggression, maybe opening up with Scouts, considering how open the map is. I think that could have been quite beneficial, especially with the assistance from the fishing ships bolstering your food economy. Could have been pretty strong. And if we were going for a fast Castle Age, I feel like the stable was the optimal choice for the Berbers there. So yeah, GG, well played. So you guys found this one helpful, and we'll jump straight into the next match in just a moment. This is a quickie, but I like to have some quick ones mixed in there because not everyone has time to watch a 2-hour slugfest. And it was a GG regardless. Take out Wings now. Thank you for the $1.10. How many Spanish villagers with supremacy does it take to take down an Ultralisk? I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to assume like 50 or so. Oh my. Hey, Leonardo. Yeah, it's not like Orange chose not to make any army. It's more like after he built the canals, he really just didn't have the economy to manage that while he was also managing his own economy. He just didn't have enough money. Thanks so much, Loreborn, for the $15. He says, hey, Rez. Lurker that doesn't play Age of Empires 2 competitively or post in chat here. Just wanted to say that your game analysis has been incredibly helpful to me in balancing my own project for a number of months now. Keep up the good work. I'm super glad to hear that, Loreborn, and best of luck with your project. Thank you, man. Really close Castle Age timing, though. Anyway, we'll be right back, guys, after the break. I'm going to post this on YouTube, and of course, don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and you can find the live stream schedule on the Twitch page. We have plenty more Age of Empires 2 content on the way, as well as content for other games, so thank you so much for those of you who take the time to support the videos that aren't Age of Empires 2. I see that Armello was fairly well received, so again, I appreciate it, and that helps motivate me to produce more AoE content. And we'll be right back. GG, well played. Stick around, another game after this.